All right, let's jump right into it. If you're a senior executive or sitting on a board somewhere, it is really time to reframe how we think about technology. For decades, so many organizations viewed tech as just IT support, a cost center, right? Just making sure the emails flow, the servers are humming, and the printers actually work. But today, we're flipping that script. We are going to frame technology as the absolute primary driver of your external competitive advantage. And the person steering that ship? The Chief Technology Officer.
Just to give you a quick roadmap of what we're covering in today's briefing, we've got 1. The strategic navigator, 2. CTO versus CIO, 3. Cross-departmental tech impact, 4. The analytics continuum, and finally, 5. Guiding future technical investments. Simple as that. Let's get moving.
Section 1. The strategic navigator, steering the future of the enterprise. And this immediately brings up a pretty crucial question that every single board needs to be asking themselves. Who is actually steering your technological future? The formal definition here is pretty clear. The CTO is the highest technology executive who examines short and long-term needs and utilizes capital to make investments designed to help the organization reach its objectives. But what does that actually mean for us? Basically, your CTO is your big-picture visionary. They aren't in the weeds patching software bugs or, managing help desk tickets. Instead, they're totally focused on that overarching technology infrastructure and those external customer-facing innovations that are actually going to propel the organization forward. They're the ones constantly scanning the horizon for disruptive tech, whether that's AI, blockchain, advanced automation, and figuring out exactly how to weaponize those tools to grab market share.
Moving on to Section 2, CTO versus CIO, delineating the tech mandate. We really need to draw a hard line here because, let's be honest, at the C-suite level, these titles are incredibly distinct but get mixed up all the time.
I like to think of the CIO as chief engineer. They've got a strictly internal focus. The CIO is managing the IT staff, making sure day-to-day operations run smoothly without any disastrous outages, and rolling out those critical internal systems. Think things like ERP systems to manage HR, payroll, and internal finance. Their main scorecard? Cost efficiency and operational uptime. The CTO, on the other hand, well, they're the navigator looking right out the windshield at the road ahead. Their focus is completely external. They're analyzing how tech can directly serve the customer and drive up overall profitability. So while your CIO makes sure the engine is purring perfectly without overheating, your CTO is deciding which highway the company needs to take to completely outpace the competition.
And that external focus perfectly tees up Section 3, cross-departmental tech impact, breaking the silos. Because your CTO is looking at the horizon and the bottom line, their impact literally ripples across the entire organization. They definitely don't operate in a vacuum.
Historically, the CTO role actually evolved from post-World War II R&D directors, so it makes total sense that they oversee R&D facilities and directly shape customer-facing product development. But here's the really interesting part. Think about their collaboration with legal counsel. When you are developing truly novel technologies, your CTO absolutely has to have a working familiarity with complex intellectual property issues. They are right there in the trenches with the legal team, securing patent portfolios to build defensive moats around the business. They're protecting trade secrets and, just as importantly, ensuring technical compliance with strict regulators like the FDA if you're in healthcare or the EPA in manufacturing. It's a massively strategic cross-functional role. It is way, way more than just writing code.
Now, to make all these high-stakes cross-departmental decisions, the CTO absolutely cannot just rely on a gut feeling. Which brings us to Section 4, the analytics continuum, the secret weapon.
Let's break down the different levels of analytics modern businesses use. First up, you have diagnostic analytics. This is inherently backward-looking. It asks, why did that happen? Say your e-commerce sales tanked by 10% last month. Diagnostic analytics digs in and tells you, oh, it's because a recent website update crippled our mobile load times. It's super useful for diagnosing problems, right? But you're entirely looking in the rearview mirror. Then we step up to the proactive power of predictive analytics. This takes historical data and forecasts forward-looking probabilities. It asks what might happen next. Think of a recommendation algorithm knowing exactly what a customer is going to buy next based on a massive data set of past behavior. Finally, we hit the gold standard. Prescriptive analytics. This asks what specific action should we take for the optimal outcome. It doesn't just predict a heavy holiday rush, it actively reroutes a global logistics company's delivery trucks in real time, instantly adjusting for weather patterns and package priority. It's an absolute game changer.
And that brings us to the climax of our briefing here, Section 5, Guiding Future Technical Investments, Anticipating the Market. Let's see how the CTO actually wields all this advanced data.
To transform all that raw data into a truly reliable forecast, your CTO is overseeing an absolute arsenal of predictive models. They're managing advanced data science teams using tools like decision trees to map out exactly what the cascading consequences are if we pivot our supply chain. They're deploying neural networks to hunt down incredibly complex hidden patterns in massive consumer data sets, stuff a human analyst would frankly never catch. And they rely on sophisticated regression models to nail down exactly how a shift in, say, digital ad spend is going to actually hit bottom-line sales over the next fiscal quarter.
The core idea here really hits the nail on the head. Predictive analytics uses historical data, statistics, and machine learning to identify patterns and forecast potential outcomes. The big takeaway? The CTO uses these advanced statistical and machine learning models to effectively peer into the future. They're using this predictive analysis to mitigate massive financial risks way before a single dollar of capital is ever deployed into some experimental product line or new infrastructure. Basically, they are fundamentally removing the guesswork from your corporate strategy.
And as you move along this continuum, the business value scales dramatically. It basically goes through the roof. By shifting the organization's focus away from merely diagnostic, backward-looking reports and intentionally empowering the tech team to run with predictive and prescriptive analytics, the CTO drastically pumps up the ROI and the core efficiency of your technical investments. They're taking historical data, which is really just a simple record of the past, and turning it into an actionable, highly strategic roadmap for the company's future growth.
So, I want to leave you with this final thought, maybe a slightly provocative question to bring to your next leadership meeting. With technology now acting as the absolute primary driver of your external competitive advantage, is your organization sufficiently empowering its navigator? To truly future-proof your investments, you have got to make sure your CTO is out of the server room, sitting squarely in the boardroom, armed with predictive analytics, and given a crystal-clear mandate to navigate the road ahead.